I don't really like the term dry land. I think in the swim world we don't call when they get in the water wetland. I think it's all encompassing. Obviously, swimmers are unique in the fact that what they do in the water is different than anybody else does on land. So I think for me, it was definitely something I had to get out to the pool. I'm over there about 4 to 5 times a week, watch them swim, watch how they move, look at the different body types, the different things that go into the stroke. Initially I asked our coaching staff, hey, can you break the stroke down for me? They were, I'll never forget it, they started at about 52 parts. It was like, give me the first grader thought process and then let's work our way up. That first year, we actually hosted SECs here. It's 4 years ago. These seniors now were freshmen, and I was drinking out of a fire hydrant. Didn't really necessarily know what was going on. I was kind of confused a little bit by the intricacies of just the volume, and how that's going to all kind of connect, And so, now that I've been there going on in my 4th this year, you get a better feel for it each time. Here at Savage Training, what does it take to be a savage? And that means living the right way, acting the right way, and then having intention within your training. And so I think there is that initial process that can get lost. I don't like it when people say, swimmers aren't athletic or they don't do well on land. I'm not really big, whether it's with our athletes, my own kids, or myself personally. I'm just not big on using any type of negative derogatory comment about movement efficiency or literacy. It's about how can we get better with it, how can we create the shapes we need to create, and then build on that. I think it's about shapes. I think what each athlete needs is a little bit different. And so now that I've been working with swim now for a while, and I'm excited about these Olympics because we're gonna have some kids coming from here, and it's exciting in the sense that I would call them my quadrennial babies, but they're kind of gonna be the experiment of how does it all play out, but just did they become more efficient in their movement skills. I did start this year off with over 80 plus PowerPoint slideshow on the importance of different breathing mechanics with our kids, and kind of really broke that down. And Rachel Vickery, someone that's worked with us, and just kind of really take a step back and kind of walk our kids through the importance of how that's going to really involve not just their training within Savageville, in the Savage Factory, but also within the water and how it's all going to connect. From a swimming perspective, you gotta look for ways to kind of challenge their minds. It's a monotonous sport. Obviously, you look at the amount of volume that they put in where they don't get a ton of communication, and they've got to get feedback though with every stroke, right? So it's kind of unlike many sports, in that sense. And so it's, can we get them to kind of be in some different spots in here and challenge that? And then I'm interested in how they solve problems with their body, right? That's going to tell you a lot. You think about when you watch like breaststroke, right? Or, Molly Haynes has been someone I've been fortunate enough to work with. And, as I play around with it in my little pool and send her videos and get feedback vice versa, right? But it's, can I take the feedback in the water and maybe change one little thing that has a big impact, but then do it stroke after stroke after stroke. But then within the weight room, right, as I'm connecting something, right, so it could be something as simple as like, a triphasic jump, which is a jump where we use bands to kind of get up off the ground, right? Can I use my arms on the band to kind of, as I extend that hip, to then propulse myself even higher, right? And so some people may say, okay, they're using their arms, is that really a plyometric exercise? My thought process to it though is you watch a swimmer go through the water, the question is, can they break down the feedback they're getting and then play off it, right? So similar to coming off a wall, etc. How do you do that at a high speed stop, rotate and go? And I think the difficulty is being in the performance realm and not growing up swimming. There's a lot of feedback that is going on that I wish someone had taught me, but I'd say the biggest thing is the speed at which they have to change, right? And it's not something you think about, but it can be really advantageous. And then when you talk about the collegiate realm, it's double the walls, right? And so there's definitely something to be there. There's definitely something to be had. Where it's unique to me is when I look at think about our different body types, right? When I first started working with swimming, I kind of broke everybody off by stroke, and then by, basically stroke and then distance, right? Now I've got these shorter groups and longer groups. But I would say one thing that's unique to it is I don't always put the sprinters in the short group and the distance kids in the longer group. I've kind of flip-flopped it at times depending on the athlete, because what I've realized is some of these longer swimmers may benefit from being a little stronger, getting a good push off the wall, or just kind of getting, being a little more athletic in that sense. And some of the Spirit kids may need a little bit more, volume. I'll be excited to do this again, maybe going into 2024 and see where we're at, because it's definitely going to look a little bit different. I'm definitely going to hopefully have gotten some feedback, and sometimes it's feedback to make a change, and that's okay. I think any good coach starts with humility and ends with humility, and so that's definitely what we're looking for.